Hey, it's Alyssa from Reselling Savvy. I'm here to share with you 7 tips on how to choose your Poshmark or other platform username. We're going to talk about the things you want to do, the things that you don't want to do, and things that you might want to consider when you're choosing your username. I highly recommend making a list of all of the names that you're considering and then crossing them out as you start to narrow it down so that you can see everything you're working with. I find writing things down really helps me, and it helps your thoughts come together in a more complete way so that you don't forget about something or skip over something. I want you to consider your personal style or your closet style and what it is that you stand for or you represent. These are really important. You want to make sure that your closet name represents your brand. Before I get into this video, I do want to say a disclaimer. This is not meant to call anybody's closet name out. I'm not using anybody's closet name as an example on purpose. I came up with some phrases and things on my own, but I'm not looking to put anybody on blast or display anybody's closet name as a bad example. So these are just examples that I've come up with, and I'm trying to use myself as much as I can as the example, but if you choose something that goes against these, or you have some great idea, or you disagree with me, that's cool, that's fine. I don't care. It's your closet. That's something you need to keep in mind. It's yours. This stranger on the internet can give you ideas all she wants, but ultimately it's what you want. So take these with a grain of salt. These are just some guidelines that I put together if I were renaming my closet again. Number 1, is that name already in use? If it's already in use, you can't use it. I recommend looking on all of the platforms that you plan on selling with and making sure it's not in use in any of those, because I like to keep my name consistent across all of the platforms. So I would check everything, not just Poshmark, to make sure that name is not in use. The second thing that I would look for is, are you using a name that's too common? On Poshmark, for example, I did a search which was extremely unofficial, and there's not much science to back this, but I did a sample of a few hundred of my followers and took their closet names and looked for the most common terms that were used in them. And 4 of the most common words that were used in their usernames were posh, boutique, shop, and fashion. Now, I broke that last one because I have fashion in my name. But those are 4 of the most common words used in Posh usernames. Think about that when you're choosing your username, because you don't want to be like everybody else. Probably. Maybe you do. If you do, go for it. The third thing I think you should consider is your name easy to find? If somebody's looking at your item and they forget to like it or favorite it, are they going to be able to go back to you? Or if they saw that they really liked your stuff, but they have thousands of people that they're following and they want to try to find you again, are they going to be able to find you? Is your name memorable? And is it easy to find? For example, I wouldn't put extra letters or underscores into my name. If the name you like is not available as it's written, I would move on to another one, because there are so many people who are, I don't know, Posher 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that you don't want to be that person who had to take whatever name was available because you really wanted to use the word posher or something like that. There's so many other words out there that are available. I think you could come up with something better. Make sure you're easy to find if somebody looks for your items again, or maybe they want to be a repeat customer. Branding does have an effect on your buyer. Number 4, consider the longevity of what you choose. Make sure that you're not choosing something that's relevant now but may not be relevant in a year or 5 years or 10 years. You only get to change your Posh username once. So make sure whatever it is you're choosing is going to continue to be relevant as time goes on. The 5th thing I think you should consider is make sure you're representing what you want to be representing and you're not representing things that might turn your buyer off. One of the most common ones I see are names that have thrift in the title. That's fine. I love thrift stores. I like thrift shopping. Thrifting does not scare me. But for a Poshmark buyer who's looking at, I don't know, a $100 or $200 dress that you have listed in your closet, if your name is Posh Thrift, they might be a little bit turned off thinking that you bought it at a thrift store or that you are a thrift store. Thrift shopping is great. It's becoming more popular. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having that in your name. Just consider if that's something you want. Number 6, think about your personal info. I cannot tell you how many buyers I sell to where their username is their first and last name, sometimes their middle name too. That's your choice. I made that mistake when I first joined. I changed my name later, but I would avoid anything that gives too much personal information. Your middle name, last name. I would avoid using any digits of your phone number, anything about your address. I wouldn't put in the year that you graduated, the year you got married. I wouldn't put in the year that you were born. I see that a lot. And that's just for me a personal preference. I don't want to give people more information than they need. I'm okay with people knowing who I am or seeing my face or knowing certain things about me, but there's a certain degree of anonymity that I like to keep on the internet, which is why I have a P.O. box when I'm shipping my sales so nobody knows my home address, and I don't use my personal information in my username. Nothing is saying that people couldn't find you anyway because of all the information that's available on the internet. I'm just not going to give it to them on a silver platter. The last thing that I think you need to consider is, how does your username read? I see this more often than not, that people have chosen usernames that were cute and they maybe didn't read through them as combinations of different letters, so it could be a different word. And I'm just making one up here, but for example, work of art, the phrase. My brain would read that as worko fart. I'm sorry. That's just how my brain would read that one. I would get it eventually, but make sure that whatever you're choosing can't be misconstrued as something else, because you don't want people to try to buy from the worko fart person. You don't want to be the fart closet. So just double check that you know all of the combinations of the words in your username before you choose it. That was not an issue with mine, Fashion Trove. I made sure it couldn't be misconstrued as anything else, but it's really important that people read your name as it's written and not how their mind sees it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this helps you choose or change your username. If this helped you or you came up with a username, let me know down below. I'd love to see what your new closet name is. I wish you all of the best, many sales, happy poshing, and have a wonderful day.